Entered a new season like hi, hello. Cut off some dead ends, it was time to grow. My ex thought I adorned her because she was Miguel like kaleidoscope. Let her out the passenger seat, she was beside herself. See, to me, it's better to substitute her than subside my health. I'm alive and well. 30 years old with no health concerns. Sometimes I get survivor's guilt because I still have my body and my mind as well. Father suffered a stroke. Starting to wonder, does he know his right from his left? He can barely type me a text, never mind write a will. Hoping it doesn't overcome what's left of him, and he renames me like the mill. But I prevail, any slight ordeal. I appreciate everything, the roof over my head, and even the wine distilled in my fridge. So every day I give thanks to the Lord, whether I'm sitting in the cold or I'm dancing abroad. See, me and my friends have an ongoing joke. They say, I just be producing events and it's kind of like they can't seem to find me unless it's Eventbrite, Instagram or Design Your Night, and that I'm rarely behind a mic. And that's starting to chew up my ear like a Mike Tyson fight. See, producing is just as important as execution. EP on the way. Diary said I better do it. Can't avoid these commitments like a medic student. I'm Erling Haaland when I step. You can't check my movements. Early this year I wrote a poem about Birmingham and how we're constructing a better future. One of my peers reached out. He told me I should trade in more metaphors. Whether or not there's a check involved, I appreciate the feedback. It's the only way you can get improvement. But understand that my personal written work is not the same as my commission work. And God loves a trier. Our community was cut like a set of pliers when we lost Benjamin Zephaniah, an Afro-Caribbean poet that grew up a stone throw away from me. How could I not get inspired? Yeah, he may not have left 4 or 5 kids, but he certainly was the father to what many of my peers and I did. So as I recite this, I reflect on the power of the spoken word. I'm unemployed again, avoiding texts about a birthday. My landlord thinks that I'm trying to avoid the rent, down to my last pounds and pence. Already been to the housing, but it's not their priority to be housing men, so I'm laying down in bed. I'm drowning my sorrows, I ain't going out tomorrow, it's like lockdown again. Hate being around my friends. Fake smiles start a Friday night, but very rarely, that's how it ends. Knock on the door. Now suspense, it's Jen, my social worker. Should I allow her in? 1 second. Time to put on some trousers then. Unlock the door, smile, now pretend. She walks in. First thing she asked was, how you been? I said, I've been fine. Deep down, I know I'm cowering. She replied, come down the street, I have someone for you to meet. I said, allow it, Jen. But every now and then, I realise I need to get out of my head. So we proceed, deadest pair of trainers on. It's pitch black, not sure where the day has gone. Extra anxious, chewing extra, the flavour's gone. I've got a feeling, but to be fair, I may be wrong, that she's taking me somewhere dodgy. We've been walking down this pavement long. Feel to vacate, then came face to face with Mum. All of a sudden, all of my pain was gone. Last time I saw her, they were putting me in foster care. The family I grew with, I was not aware, were not my blood, and to be fair, that wasn't fair. First thing she said was, oh my God, you've grown lots of hair and you've got a beard. Anytime I see a young man around your height, I'd always stop and stare. Tears in my eyes, but she was not aware. I just replied, let's not dwell on what got us here. See, despite what you see, you never truly know someone's backstory. Despite what the media may want us to be, trauma isn't the theme of every black story. Got to adapt to the world, because this world may not adapt for me. Hopefully one day I'll get to see exactly what heaven has for me. Taxes and bills, I really hate this shit. But I guess that's how you feel when your pay is shit. I've got 2 kids and 0 in the bank account. My outgoings are twice as much as my income. There's nothing to laugh about. Reality of a single mother. These conditions that I'm living under makes me question God and why he wants to see me suffer, because I didn't ask for this. And both my children's fathers, there's an asterisk because I was attacked twice in 3 years. The first time was my ex and his 3 peers. At the time, I was good at predicting the future. He asked if I could read theirs and go over to their house and decrease fear. So yeah, we went over, just me and him. He asked me to drive so he could pick up the weed and the gin. At the time, I thought nothing of it. I mean, I was barely 15. And he did nothing to me. Besides that one time he made my lip bleed, but that was many years ago. He was 29 now, but soon I would find out. It was blatant, disguise. Anyway, we arrived at the place. He waved with a smile on his face. See, that weren't out of the ordinary. But I was always cautious of what they thought of me. They called me Gorgeous Shelly. Anyway, I stepped in, said hello to the rest of his brethren and took a seat. After a few rounds of drinks, they conversed so brazenly about how lucky my boyfriend was for having me. I texted him across the room that I wanted to sit in the car as I felt unwell. He texted me back, "Babes, relax, have a drink, be yourself." See, that weren't out of the ordinary. Growing up, Mum had me listen to Faith, Brandy and Mary, and he was telling me to listen up and have faith in this Brandy and Mary. And admittedly, I didn't roll it or pour it, but after a few minutes, things became distorted. Next thing I knew, I was crawling in a darkened room. And you see, this is the part that always confuses me. My ex and his friends were abusing me, exposing my nudity, leaving me soon to become pregnant. Somehow they got off and he got a 3-month sentence. So I packed my bags. A few weeks later, I got a pregnancy test. I cried through joy and pain, and I promise I'll never neglect my flesh as I screamed, "Give me a break." After 2.5 years of wearing hand-me-downs, my plans allowed me and my son to get a 1-bedroom council house. Auntie never said it, but I could tell she wanted us out the house. Depression seeped in. Still grieving through my grievance, because what my ex did to me was treason, but anyway, I digress. One afternoon I was booked in for an eye test and I went and took a seat. Caught eyes with this fair-skinned man. He was just around 6 feet. And this was meant to be the time that I was going to climb out of that supreme slumber. But I must confess, the only car key he possessed was a green jumper. Anytime we got talking over Snapchat, he would create screen munches, and anytime I remember, it's like when I peel onions, my eyes run. I'll be on a wave of positivity, and the tide comes and takes me away again. My womanhood I have to claim again. So growing through what I'm going through is the stage I'm in. What exactly happened, do you ask? Well, he told me that he's a single father and he grew up in the same area as me, and that he's ready to show a woman how a real man who's caring can be, and that gave me reassurance. But looking back, I was blatantly ignoring. He knew who I was and he hated me before then. But I gave him my number and we went on a couple of dates, going through that couple phase. I was happy, hoping that my look would change, because this seemed to be the first man that wanted me outside of a lustful stage. But anyway, one evening he came to mine. My son was sleeping. He claimed it's fine. He didn't plan to stay the night. I never once thought I'd feel humbled and alone in the comfort of my home as he gripped up on my phone and pinned me to the banister. I mean, what strength could I possibly possess to hold off a man of that caliber? He ran out the door as soon as my son came out. I gripped my son so tightly, I promised him Mummy's okay now. What 3-year-old's supposed to feel like a guardian? What 3-year-old's supposed to see his hero objectified, beaten, abused, sexualized by a man who uses his deceptive mind is the type of questions I'm needing answers to. My son was more than happy to welcome him into the home that he and his mother share. But my son was far from happy to welcome the greys in his mother's hair, and that left me pregnant again. That's 2 children by 2 men. I'm absolutely desperate for change, but now I have another son born out of pain, cradled with love. When I get back to work, the money I'm saving it up for their future I have to fight. You see, both my sons, there's more than one way that they share each other's genes. The first time, not only did I suffer, the second time, I was raped and fell pregnant by his older brother. In life, there's little to match the value of respect. In life, you pay for what you value or neglect. So tell me, what's the true value of a check if you work every single minute of every single day and don't see the value in your rest? Meet Steve. He works 80 plus hours, sweat pounding on his flesh, never takes a break, not even half an hour to connect with himself, never mind health and relationships. Each day he goes home to a steak pie with chips. As the chips fry, he's pissed because he knows he's putting on weight again. And although he works hard, he hardly takes time to sit. Goes home, messages his best mate, whines a bit, and this is him every single work day to the weekend where he finds some wine to drink with a young lady who he finds legit, but she's not interested. She thinks he needs to go to a GP or find a gym, but he gets offended. So now he's on a chase for more cash, more materials, more flash, more Instagram, more gas, more breasts, more ass, in a society that is dogging us out for more cash, heading our phones until we all crash. How you doing? I'm great. Small chat. In his mind, he ain't shit if he can't afford that or this. Comparison is the thief of the riches of joy. So I guess we're all rich according to our social representatives. So now he's going to go and buy something that is financially enormous just to stunt on somebody else to show he's living flawless. Why can't we all just stop with the fronting, be who we are and stop with the stunting? See, we live in a society where nobody wants anybody else to overlap us. On a hamster wheel, but we're actually being hampered. But they say it's better to keep up than catch up. See, everybody wishes they were kids again, because the issues we had back then, we didn't necessarily have to live with them until we went outside and our huge goals lose hope. It's like life puts us through some loopholes and puts a noose over our throat. Who chose to live this way of living? Who knows? But the one thing I do know is, in life, there's little to match the value of respect. And in life, you pay for what you value or neglect.